Happy Saturday, my family. It is your girl T, aka the nappy-headed jojoba, and today's video, it's kind of like an anti-haul, but not an anti-haul. Typically with an anti-haul or anti-haul, however you like to say it, you're focusing on new things that are coming out or that have just come out, and you generally don't want the things you're anti-hauling. This is different though, because I'm actually going through things that I really would like to buy. Some new, some not so new. But what they all have in common is they're things I'm not gonna buy because I can't afford them, I don't need them, and plus I'm on a financial diet this month. As many of you guys know, we're doing our Make It Happen March challenge. Today is the 2nd, so it just started yesterday. And one of the major components of this challenge is avoiding unnecessary impulse consumption, impulse buying. The fact of the matter is I've only got one head of hair and I've only got one face, and I have more than enough products for both. So let's do it. Let's jump into makeup that I want, but that I'm not gonna buy. First up is something that I don't think is new, but that I only heard about recently because another YouTuber mentioned it in one of her videos, and it is the Sigma Beauty Bird, I think it's called the Dream palette. This thing. As soon as I saw that palette, I wanted it. It looks really inspiring. I really love the color selection, how you've got all of your basic colors that you need, as well as really colorful ones to have more fun with looks all in one. So you can go as basic or as experimental / avant-garde as you might want. Plus, while I do have Sigma brushes, I've never tried any of their makeup. I've never tried any of their eyeshadows or other products. So there's some curiosity there, but the fact of the matter is, girl, I don't need that shit. I have enough eyeshadow for several lifetimes. I don't wear makeup most days of the week, so I'm not going through makeup quickly enough to actually finish any of these palettes probably. So while I do love the look of this palette and think it's beautiful, I'm not gonna buy it because I don't need it. In similar fashion, there is the new Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette. Now the main reason I want this palette is one, it's Charlotte Tilbury and I love all of her stuff basically. I just stand for her. And two, this is the most colorful palette I think she's ever come out with. She generally does very wearable, grown and sexy type of makeup, but this palette looked really pretty. It looked more fun, and I've been getting a lot more into color the past couple of years, as some of you guys have even noticed with my on-camera looks. So I would love to have that palette and play in it, but I'm not gonna buy it. Due in no small part to the fact that it looks a lot like my Kevyn Aucoin Electropop palette. You guys would have seen me haul that, I think, toward the end of last year. I haven't even dipped into that palette yet. I almost used it today, but then I wanted to use another palette that I've had for a while that I've never tried. So it's an illness, honestly. This is why, even though I want all of the things I'm talking about today, I'm not going to buy them. At least not until after March 31st. Another thing from Charlotte Tilbury is the Latex Love lipsticks. These are sort of like a vinyl appearance, high shine, high pigment lip product. In case you couldn't tell, I like a high shine lip, but I'm not gonna buy these because they're crazy expensive. I mean, even for Charlotte Tilbury, these are high. The colors are not all that unique, and I can basically recreate the look of probably any or all of those shades with things that I already have. So even though I want them, I'm not gonna buy them. I have another thing from Charlotte Tilbury on this list farther down, so I'm just going to insert it here so we can move on from Mama Tills. But it is her loose powder. There's 3 shades of it. It came out last year sometime, I think in the 4th quarter of last year. And I have heard nothing but raves about how amazing this powder is and how it's going to be life-changing and yada yada yada. But the truth is, I have plenty of face powder. I have some really good face powders. I've also got some face powders that were just as expensive and luxury as that one, so why would I need another one when I haven't even finished what I've got? Maybe someday, once I run through what I have, I will go ahead and try that product, but not today. Next up are 2 new palettes from Viseart, which I believe are exclusive to Beautylish. I don't even know the names of them offhand, but one is a very peachy, wearable kind of palette, and the other one is a lot more fun with pops of yellow and purples and pinks. The one I want the most is the one that's more experimental because I feel like I'm pretty well covered on wearable colors and neutral colors. But truth be told, if money weren't an object and I weren't just trying not to feed into the consumerism machine, I might have caved and purchased them both. They just came out, so they're fresh. They've got the hype machine behind them, all of that. But just like with everything else, I just don't need them. Even though some of the colors, especially in the purple yellow palette, look very unique and don't look like things I already have, girl, does it really matter that much? I mean, you can still create something similar probably with things you already have. If I really see a look on someone else using those palettes that I like, I'll probably just try to recreate it with what I've got, and I'll probably be just as happy with the results. The next item is another fairly new one. It's the Pat McGrath Mascara, which just came out, I want to say this month, or I guess technically last month, now that we're in March. I don't know why I even want to try this, since I barely even wear mascara ever. I wear it on my bottom lashes only, but on my top lashes, I either wear nothing or a strip lash. I just hate taking off mascara, so I don't usually want to be bothered putting it on in the first place. So why do I even want to try this? Why do I want to buy this? I will say the marketing images look pretty impressive, but that's what mascara marketing images are meant to do. I mean, half the time they're adding fake lashes, like individuals or something in there anyway. But the bottom line is, I don't need it, so even though I want it, I'm not gonna buy it. Next up is the Cover FX Power Play Foundation. This foundation is by no means new. I think it came out in 2017 or 2018. The reason I want to try this foundation is I love the concealer. I've talked about the Cover FX Power Play Concealer a couple of times on this channel because it's my go-to. I don't really wear foundation in real life anymore, like ever at all. I'll wear foundation if I'm trying to do an on-camera beat, but for real life, I usually just do concealer and that's it. And I just love that Power Play Concealer so much. It's got me wondering, well, what if I did really love that foundation? Ultimately, the purchase just wouldn't be practical. I've got foundations that I like and that I use and, you know, that are perfectly fine for me to use whenever I do need foundation to do on-camera stuff. And if I'm not using it for on camera, I'm probably not going to wear it in real life either. Like, I'm not going to suddenly go back to wearing foundation all the time. And since I do have more than enough foundation to beat this face and get camera ready, I don't need another new one right now at all. Which brings me to the next item that I want, but that I'm definitely not going to buy, at least in the near future, and that is the new Laura Mercier. I want to say it's the Flawless Lumière. Again, this thing. This foundation just looks beautiful to me. Mel Thompson, FKA Puffin's wife, she's been raving about that foundation. I think she's already gone through a full bottle of it, but the difference there is she beats her face every single day. Like, I don't know the last time I finished a bottle of foundation before I had to toss it because it started separating, you know? I just don't go through makeup like that, so it doesn't make sense for me to buy it. But it does look so pretty on everyone I've seen it on. Next up is a skincare item that I want, but that I don't need, and therefore I'm not gonna buy it, and that is the Pharmacy Green Cleansing Balm. I've heard really great things about that cleansing balm from a few different YouTubers who I'm subscribed to, but there's a few reasons I'm not buying it. One, I already have a cleansing balm that I'm using right now, and then I have another tub of it to use up after it's finished. Two, the price point. I really love the Clinique Take the Day Off cleansing balm, and I love it so much. It's like, why do I feel the need to try another product when I already like this, and this new option, the pharmacy one, is more expensive than the one that I already know that I love? It's very much a if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Like, it's just a cleansing balm. The Clinique one is great. I feel like it's a fair price. I can even catch it on sale every now and then when I get it from Ulta. So why mess with success? Just walk away. Just stop worrying about the fact that other people love this other balm. Use what's good and what's a fair price and move on with your life. This is me coaching myself, talking myself down. Next up are some makeup brushes. The new brush sets from Sonia G, which she launched an eye set and then I think shortly after a face set. Some of you may recall that I purchased one and only one Sonia G brush when Beautylish was having their gift card event toward the end of last year. And I love the brush. It's great. It's exactly what I needed. It's exactly what I was looking for. However, I'm not going to buy these brush sets because I don't necessarily have any holes that need filling in my arsenal of brushes. I feel like I have all the brushes I need. At this particular time, I don't feel like there's any gap, any hole that needs to be filled when I'm doing an eye look or doing my face makeup. I feel like I have the ideal brush for my face shape and the size of my features to do anything that I need. And I'm mostly very pleased with the performance of the brushes that I have. So it doesn't make sense for me to spend a lot of money because these brushes are very expensive. They're handcrafted. So that already comes at a higher premium. I simply don't need to spend that kind of money though on new brushes or really on any brushes unless I feel that something isn't performing the way it used to and needs to be replaced or something like that. Wrapping things up with 2 hair purchases that I want but that I'm not going to buy. The first is the Dyson Airwrap, I think it's called. It's basically their version of that Revlon blow dry brush, which I actually tested out on dry hair because I only heat stretch my hair when it's dry in this video. But the Dyson Airwrap is $400 to $500. I think there's a few different versions you can get in terms of how many attachments it comes with. And it's Dyson, so of course it costs a fortune. As someone who has been experimenting with more heat stretching on my hair, of course I'm not doing it right now because we are in a protective style challenge. In any event, as someone who does heat stretch my hair, I am very happy with my little cheapy thermal brush that I've shown you guys, also in that same video I just linked a moment ago. Much like with the balms, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't need to spend 10x, probably more than 10x, actually definitely more than 10x the price of what I spent on my thermal brush on this Dyson thing. And it is cool that it has all those attachments, and I'm sure it does work really well and it's very efficient and this and that, but I just don't need it. I mean, that is serious money. $5 is just too much. No matter how much better a result I could maybe get, I mean, it's not even guaranteed I would necessarily get a better result than I'm already getting with my little thermal brush that could. There just isn't a universe where I can justify that kind of price tag. I mean, maybe if I hit the lotto someday, but that day ain't today. Last but not least is the Paul Mitchell Ginger Keratin Rinse. My ride or dies know how much I love a good conditioner that has some protein in it. And I don't remember how I initially even heard about this product, but I just really like the sound of it. I like the idea of using it as a precursor to whenever I'd be heat styling because it's got protein in it and it's also got some silicones in there, which I look for when I know I'm going to be applying heat directly to my hair. Despite the good things I've heard about it and my curiosity, I'm not gonna buy it, at least not anytime soon, because I've got other things I can use. I've got products that I can use that have silicones in them. I've got products that have protein in them. I've got products that already work really well for my hair. So this need to keep searching for other things when I've already got things that work, it needs to stop. So if there's ever a day when I am completely out of other things that work for my hair because my stash is considerable, girl, maybe then I will go ahead and try this product or any of the other ones I've mentioned. But for now, even though I want it, I'm not gonna buy it. That is it for this Save Your Money Saturday video. I don't know if this is gonna be a recurring thing, but I just felt like it was a good topic for those of us who are doing the Make It Happen March Challenge, who, you know, struggle with keeping up with the Joneses, just the culture of social media constantly telling you to buy, buy, buy. There are far more important things in life than a new foundation or a new concealer or a new palette or a new conditioner. If you have things that already work for you, use them and be happy. And then maybe once those things run out, you can feel free to dibble dabble in new things. To be perfectly honest, it requires a lot of maturity and discipline to avoid buying things that you don't need, to not impulse purchase things. To constantly give in to buying whatever you want is not only short-sighted, it's immature, and it's something that I'm working on because it's very childish to just knee-jerk reaction, buy things just because you want it in that moment. If you really, really, truly want something and it's actually going to bring you any significant joy, you'll still want it later. So it's good to have that waiting period. In this case, we've got a whole month waiting period. And for a lot of these items, I've had more than a month because they've been out for a while and I've just been, in general, even before this month, trying to buy a lot less. It's gonna be an interesting month, but thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today on what is a very rainy Saturday here in Los Angeles. I hope you guys are doing great. I know we are only at the beginning of this challenge, but I promise it will get easier as we go along, but only after it gets a lot harder. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and Sunday, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.